Well, what do you know? I guess I'll be the one who dies first.
Chandler, what is the matter with your face? This picture's supposed to say Geller and Dean to be married, not local woman saves drowning moron. Hey, don't laugh at him. He's my drowning moron.
I swear to Lucifer.
In this video, I'm going to be exposing Leave the World Behind because this movie has a lot of predictive programming. And then I'm also going to be exposing Matthew Perry because he is very connected to Leave the World Behind. He died a few days after that movie came out. And in that movie, they did so much predictive programming of his death. So I'll be exposing all of that in this video. Make sure you guys drop a like, share, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. So in this video, I'm also going to be exposing Matthew Perry's other characters. I found 2 other characters that he has right now on the world stage. And as you can see, they look exactly alike. But before I get into that, let's talk about Leave the World Behind and all of the predictive programming that they did. Because recently, on February 22nd, AT&T, Cricket, Verizon, T-Mobile, and many other cellular companies shut down. And they did predictive programming of this in Leave the World Behind. As you can see, even in their description of the movie, it says no internet, no phones, no going back to normal. And in the movie, this is the first thing that happens. They go under a cyber attack and all of the phones and internet shuts down. So of course they make a movie about this, and then a few months later, it happens in real life. They purposely put this stuff in the movies to get your mind familiar with the idea so that when they do it in real life, you just accept it and it's so familiar to you that most people don't even question it. So that's why they do predictive programming. They're not actually predicting anything. They are purposely scripting out what they're going to do, and they show you before they do it. And that's exactly what they did here. So now let's break down the scripting of this entire situation. AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon users were hit by cellular outage in the US on February 22nd. And that date is 2/22, like 222. And as you can see, Beast equals 222 in the satanic cipher in Gematria. And keep in mind, this situation happened on February 22nd, 2024. And Leave the World Behind was released in the theaters on November 22nd, 2023. So not only do both of those dates have the 22 in common, but when you look at the distance between those 2 dates, you can see that the outage happened 93 days after this movie was released in theaters. And of course, Leave the World Behind equals 93 in Gematria as well. And then 3 weeks after they released it in theaters, they released it on Netflix on December 8th, 2023. And the cellular outage happened 76 days after they released it on Netflix. And as you can see, Cell equals 76 and Barack Obama equals 76. And this was Barack Obama's movie. As you can see, Barack and Michelle Obama were credited as executive producers for Leave the World Behind. And then there's this scene in the movie where they showed an exit sign that says exit 76. And like I just showed you guys, Barack Obama is 76. And the cellular outage happened 76 days after the movie was released on Netflix. And Cell equals 76. And in the movie, they showed a 76ers cup. So that's another 76. And keep in mind, this movie came out before the Super Bowl. So this is also predictive programming for the Super Bowl because the 76ers were in the Super Bowl 11 days before the cellular outage happened. So the Super Bowl is heavily scripted with Leave the World Behind. As you can see, Leave the World Behind equals 192, just like Usher, Raymond, and Super Bowl 58. They all have the same gematria of 192 in the same cipher. And Usher performed at the Super Bowl, so this explains why he's also connected to this movie. This movie had so much subliminal programming, which is why I don't recommend for people to watch these type of movies, because if you don't understand what's going on, you can easily get programmed. As you can see, there's a scene in the movie where the 2 younger characters are wearing shirts that are very symbolic. So the guy on the left is wearing an Obey shirt and the girl is wearing a NASA shirt. So when you put that together, it says Obey NASA. So this is subliminal programming for people to believe everything NASA says. And NASA actually means to deceive in Hebrew. You know, I made a video about that and it got taken down. So I'm going to re-upload that video on Patreon and for my members on YouTube. So if you're interested in that video, go subscribe to my Patreon. The link is in the description. Another weird thing about this movie is the fact that on the cover they had 4 of the main actors' names, and when you look at it, it subliminally says ball, and ironically, this was before the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl has to do with a ball being thrown around, so it's all symbolic to this ball deity. As you can see, the ball deity even has horns just like the deer on the cover. So they did more predictive programming in this show South Park. If you guys remember, there's this very old episode where the internet goes out and everyone in the town is completely useless and they can't live their life without the internet because people were so addicted to it. And that's exactly what's happening right now. The outage that happened recently was very short, but people lost their minds and they couldn't even believe that they couldn't use the internet. So this shows that people are way too dependent on the internet, and this is not good because whenever the system goes down, everyone that's addicted to the internet is not going to be able to survive. And all of this technology is very detrimental to our health in general, so people really shouldn't be using this stuff. This is why I don't recommend for people to use VR or augmented reality. You know, they recently put out these Apple Vision Pros that are very harmful, and all of this technology is being used for mind control. So I highly recommend you guys watch my recent video on Patreon. It goes really into detail about how all of this technology is being used for mind control. So the link to this video is in the description. I highly recommend you guys check that out. So now let's talk about Matthew Perry, because it's actually very disgusting how much this character is connected to Leave the World Behind and all of the other events and hoaxes that are happening right now. So before I get into that, let's talk about Matthew Perry's other characters on the world stage, because I actually found 2 other characters that look exactly like Matthew Perry, and it's so obvious that these are his characters. So the first one we're going to talk about is Joseph Scarborough. As you can see, Matthew Perry and Joe look exactly alike. I couldn't even believe that this character existed because he looks way too similar to Matthew Perry, and they put this in our face in 2017 because apparently Joe was mistaken for Matthew Perry on live television. So here's some more comparisons of Matthew Perry and Joe, and it's very obvious that these 2 characters are the same. And if you watched my recent video about Matthew Perry, I did expose his base character because his base character is John C. Breckinridge, and this is a very old vice president. As you can see, it's very obvious that these 2 characters are the same. And I also mentioned his youngest character right now, which is Justin Williams. So if you guys are interested in that video, the link is in the description. I'm not really going to talk about Justin Williams or John Breckinridge in this video. So if you guys want to see all of the connections with that, go check out this video. So let's get back to Matthew Perry and Joe Scarborough. As you can see, it's very obvious that these 2 characters are the same. Even their haircut is very similar. And when you look at Matthew Perry with glasses, it's even more obvious because Joe is always wearing glasses. Now let's get into the gematria connections. So Joe's real name is Charles Joe Scarborough. So his first name, Charles, is connected to Matthew Perry because Matthew Perry was in the show called Friends, and Friends and Charles have the same gematria of 42 in the same cipher. And his stage name is Joe Scarborough, and I assume Joe is short for Joseph. So when I typed in Joseph Scarborough, I noticed it matched up with Matthew Perry. As you can see, Matthew Perry equals 192, and Joseph Scarborough is also 192 in the same cipher. And then Joseph and Matthew have the same gematria as well, with the number 29 in the Chaldean cipher. And then his last name, Scarborough, is 62, and Matthew Perry is also 62 in the reverse reduction cipher. So Matthew Perry's name on the show is Chandler Meryl Bing, and even his name Chandler on the show matches up with Joseph because their names on the show are also scripted with their entire character. As you can see, Chandler and Joseph have the same gematria of 32 in the same cipher. And it's funny that his name is Chandler in the show and his other character's name is Charles. So both of their first names start with C, H, and A. But anyways, as you can see, Charles Scarborough matches up with Chandler Meryl Bing. They have the same gematria of 104 in the reverse reduction cipher. So Matthew Perry's character on the show Friends is Chandler Bing, and apparently Chandler Bing has his own birthday on the show, which is April 8th, 1968. And like I said before, everything they do in their shows is also connected to the things that happen on the world stage. So the big connection here is the fact that his birthday on the show is April 8th, and Joe's birthday is April 9th. So their birthdays are only one day apart. And Matthew Perry died at age 54, and Joe Scarborough equals 54 in gematria. So these two characters are connected in every way possible, and they're both connected to Leave the World Behind as well. So Matthew Perry's birthday is August 19th, and Leave the World Behind was initially premiered on October 25th, 2023, and the distance between Matthew Perry's birthday and the release of the movie is 67 days. And as you can see, Joe Scarborough equals 67. And let's not forget that they literally had a 76ers logo in the movie, and Barack Obama equals 76. And he was behind the movie for some reason. Now let's get into the number 28, because Matthew Perry died on October 28th. And not only does Matthew equal 28 in gematria, but his other character Joseph also equals 28 in gematria. So Matthew Perry's birthday was August 19th, and he died on October 28th, which means he died 70 days after his birthday. And as you can see, Joseph Scarborough equals 70 in gematria, and Matty Perry 4 is also 70 in gematria. And Matty Perry 4 is Matthew Perry's name on Instagram. And as you can see, the numerology of his birthday is also 70. So this was all scripted. Now let's expose another one of his characters, which is Jason Clarke. As you can see, it's very obvious that Jason Clarke is another one of Matthew Perry's characters. They both have the same eyes, the same nose, the same mouth, and the same face overall. This one is very obvious, and shout out to my subscriber that told me about this one in the comments of my other Matthew Perry video. And of course, these two characters also share the same gematria. So Matthew Perry equals 71, just like Jason Clarke in the reverse single reduction cipher. And they always put it right in our face who their other characters are. One of Matthew Perry's first movies is called The Ron Clark Story. So they're putting it right in our face because his other character's name is Jason Clarke. And on top of that, Jason Clarke's birthday is only 1 month before Matthew Perry's birthday. As you can see, Jason Clarke's birthday is July 17th, 1969. And Matthew Perry's birthday is August 19th, 1969. So this means that these two characters were born exactly 33 days apart. We all know that Masonry is 33 in gematria, Perry is 33, Friends is 33, and Fake Death is 33, because Matthew Perry's death was fake, just like every other celebrity. Now let's get into the scripting of Leave the World Behind and Matthew Perry, because for some reason, Leave the World Behind is very scripted with Friends. The little girl in the movie was obsessed with the show Friends. And as you can see, they even have the same gematria. Friends equals 39. And Leave the World Behind is 93 in the reduction cipher. And 93 is just 39 reversed. And then we see that Order of Illuminati is also 93 in the reduction cipher, like Leave the World Behind. So Leave the World Behind was released on Netflix on December 8th. And this is the same date that has been recycled over and over. Juice WRLD died on December 8th. John Lennon died on December 8th. Slim 400 died on December 8th. And Nicki Minaj's birthday is December 8th. I talked about all of this in my recent video about Eminem and Juice WRLD. I'll put a link to this video in the description, because for some reason that date is recycled over and over. Now let's get into the scripting of the show Friends and Leave the World Behind, because this was all predictive programming for Matthew Perry's fake death. So here's a screenshot from the movie, and as you can see, the little girl is obsessed with the show Friends for some reason. You know, it doesn't even make sense because she's only 13 years old in the movie, but Friends is a very old show, so it doesn't make sense for a young person to even care about this show. But it was all for Matthew Perry's predictive programming. So as you can see, she's watching the show in the movie, and her brother is wearing this black and white checkered pattern on his shorts, which is very symbolic. But anyways, I wanted to point this out because if you think about it, the show is called Friends, and the word friend has the word end at the end. So it was all symbolic to the fact that Matthew Perry was going to fake his death. It was the end of his character's life on the world stage. And on top of that, the movie was about the end of the world. So that's why this show Friends was referenced so much in the movie. And the nastiest part of this all is the fact that this movie came out on October 25th, 2023, and Matthew Perry died 5 days later on October 28th, 2023, Do you guys really think that's a coincidence? What are the chances that Matthew Perry was a star in the show Friends and he dies 5 days after this movie is released, and throughout the entire movie they keep referencing the show Friends? You know, they even ended it off with this little girl watching the last episode of Friends. So like I said, of course the end of this movie is gonna have the show Friends because the word end is in friend. And on top of that, not only was the movie released 5 days before Matthew Perry died, but it was also released on December 8th on Netflix. And when you look at Matthew Perry's death date and the Netflix release date for Leave the World Behind, you can see that they have the same numerology of 18. But if you look even deeper, you can see that these numbers are literally exactly the same. The only difference is the extra 0 in Matthew Perry's death date. So the top date is Matthew Perry's death date and the bottom date is Netflix release date for the movie. And as you can see, it's the same exact numbers. If you remove the 0 because it has no value, you can see that both dates have 1/28/2023. So I just find this very disturbing that they would make it this obvious that all of this was scripted. Everything they do is in plain sight. So when people get sad about celebrities dying and stuff like that, you really have to question, why is it so scripted? If all of this was real and organic, there wouldn't be this much scripting with these characters. This shows that the entire media and celebrity world is all scripted and simulated, and people should stop being obsessed and attached to this fake world online. So anyways, Matthew Perry died on October 28th and the movie was released on December 8th, 2023, which means this movie was released on Netflix 42 days after Matthew Perry died, and Friends equals 42 in gematria. And Matty Perry 4 is 42, and Chandler Bing is 42 as well. And Chandler was his name on the show Friends, and Matty Perry 4 is his Instagram name. And speaking of his Instagram, the reason why his name on Instagram is so important is because he did a lot of predictive programming on his Instagram before he died. I exposed most of that in my first video about this topic, but when I was doing research, I found more information. So as you can see, Matthew Perry was following 68 people on Instagram, and ironically, one of those people is Barack Obama. What are the chances of this? I just pointed out how Barack Obama is one of the executive producers for Leave the World Behind. So why would he be following Obama? You know, it's all in plain sight. This shows that his death was completely connected to this movie. And to get even deeper with this, he also follows Julia Roberts, and Julia Roberts was in the movie Leave the World Behind. And on top of that, Matthew Perry dated Julia Roberts in the show Friends, and then later dated her in real life as well. And if you thought that was crazy, it gets even crazier, because this is the nail in the coffin. This connection right here should confirm that all of this shit is fake. So not only does he follow her on Instagram, and she's in the movie that he's connected with, and he dated her in the show Friends and in real life, but on top of that, he also died on Julia Roberts' birthday. As you can see, Julia Roberts was born on October 28th, and Matthew Perry died on October 28th. So do you guys really think all of this is a coincidence? I really hope people wake up to this stuff, because this is irrefutable proof that celebrities are fake and they're not real, and everything they do is scripted. I also found it interesting that Matthew Perry was following LA Kings on Instagram, because his other character, Justin Williams, is a hockey player, and he used to play for LA Kings. As you can see, he was number 14 for the LA Kings. And I talked about this in my video about Matthew Perry and Justin Williams. The link to that video is in the description. Now let's get into all of the connections between Matthew Perry and Leave the World Behind. So his birthday was August 19th, and Leave the World Behind was released in theaters on November 22nd. So this means that the movie was released in theaters 96 days after his birthday. And Leave the World Behind equals 96, and Matthew Langford Perry equals 96, and that's his full name. Then we see that another character in the movie was this girl called Myha'la Harold, and of course she was born in 1996. So that's another 96 connection. And throughout the movie, they even showed her tattoo, which was the number 96. And of course, Matthew Perry was born in 1969, which is 96 reversed. So Matthew Perry was connected to everything about this movie. Even the characters that they used for the movie are all scripted with this character. So he was born in 69. Freemason ritual equals 69. The Jesuit order is 69. Illuminati is 69. NWO is 69. And he died on a full hunter's moon. And full hunter's moon equals 69 in gematria as well. So Leave the World Behind was released on Netflix on December 8th, which means it was released exactly 111 days after Matthew Perry's birthday. And Matthew Langford Perry equals 111 in gematria. And Leave the World Behind is also 111 in gematria. And Mark of Beast and Corrupt also equal 111 in gematria. Then we see that Chandler Bing, which is Matthew Perry's character in the show, Chandler Bing's birthday was April 8th and he died on the world stage on October 28th, which means he died exactly 203 days after his character's birthday in the show. And staged death is 203, satanic ritual is 203, NOI is 203, the Freemasons and a NWO are all 203 in the same cipher. So his birthday in the show is April 8th, and Leave the World Behind was initially released as a premiere on October 25th. So the distance between these two dates is 201. And as you all know, 201 is a number they use all the time in these scripted events. Illuminati ritual is 201. Order of Illuminati and the Freemasonic Order are all 201 in the same cipher. And it's crazy how much his birthday in the show is connected to everything. As you can see, his birthday on the show is April 8th, and there's an upcoming solar eclipse on April 8th, 2024. And when you write out April 8th, it's 4/8, like 48, and Friends equals 48, and Chandler Bing is 48, Illuminati is 48, Moon Ritual is 48, and Fake Murder is 48. And then ketamine is 48. And in the autopsy report, they said that he died of ketamine. And his autopsy was done on December 15th, 2023. And December 15th, 2023 is exactly 249 days before Matthew Perry's upcoming birthday. And as you can see, his full name, Matthew Langford Perry, equals 249. So everything about these characters is scripted, man. I can't express that enough. Now let's get into the scripting with the number 666, because in the opening scene of the movie, they blatantly showed 666. So they had a Sixers mug on the left, and then it was 6 o'clock on that clock, and then they had another coffee mug with the number 6 on the right. So you get 666. And then there was this other scene where they showed these two monitors, and on the monitor it had 6999, but when you flip that around, it's 6669. So you get your 666 along with your 69, and I talked about that number earlier. So one of the main production companies for Leave the World Behind is S-Mail Corp. S-Mail Corp equals 666 in gematria in the same cipher as Mark of Beast. Because like I talked about in my last video, they use the number 666 because it represents your animalistic nature, and that's what they try to promote. They want people to live in their animalistic nature so that they won't ascend into a higher vibrational being. So that's what the Mark of the Beast actually signifies. Another connection with the number 666 is the distance between Chandler Bing's birthday and Matthew Perry's date of death. Matthew Perry died on October 28th, and Chandler Bing's birthday is April 8th, and the distance between these two dates is 666 months. Another weird connection between Matthew Perry and Leave the World Behind. Matthew Perry died on October 28th, and one of the main characters in the movie is Farrah Mackenzie, and her birthday is October 29th, which is one day after Matthew Perry's date of death. I can't make this up. This is all in our face. And it's disgusting how obvious they made this, because this girl's role in the movie was about her being obsessed and coping with the movie Friends. And Matthew Perry is one of the main actors in the show Friends. So like I said, it's just disgusting how much mockery they did with this. You know, it's all in plain sight. And the weird thing about this girl is the fact that she's 18 years old in real life, but she played the role of this little girl in the movie. And when I looked it up, it says that her role in the movie is actually 13 years old. So why was an 18-year-old girl playing the role of a 13-year-old? This shows that these characters are fake because she looks very young in the movie, so it doesn't make sense for her to be 18 years old. Another thing that all of this was scripted with is the situation that happened. You know, I can't talk too much about it, but you guys can see on the screen what I'm talking about. I can't talk about this too much on YouTube, so I can only expose this type of stuff on Patreon, so make sure you guys are subscribed over there. But anyways, as you can see, this situation happened on October 7th, 2023, and Matthew Perry died on October 28th, 2023. So this means that he died 21 days after this situation. And of course, hoax equals 21 in gematria because both of these events were hoaxes. You know, his death was a hoax and that other situation is a hoax as well. And it was all created to harvest people's energy. Another weird thing about Matthew Perry's death is that they said he drowned, right? And his name in the show is Chandler, and Chandler and drowned have the same gematria of 38 in the reduction cipher and then 43 and 34 in the reverse reduction cipher. And the sickest part of it all is the fact that they openly showed predictive programming for Matthew Perry in the intro for Friends. As you can see in the intro, they showed Matthew Perry drowning in a fountain, and later on he ends up drowning in real life. And then they said that he drowned in a hot tub, and there's also this scene where he's in a hot tub. And he said it's so hard to care when you're this relaxed. One of the actresses in the show tells Matthew Perry that he's a drowning moron. Check this out.
Well, what do you know? I guess I'll be the one who dies first.
Chandler, what is the matter with your face? This picture's supposed to say Geller and Dean to be married, not local woman saves drowning moron. Hey, don't laugh at him. He's my drowning moron.
Now let's talk about Doja Cat because she also did predictive programming to all of this as well. So on September 2nd, 2023, Doja Cat promoted her latest single, Demons, with a nod to the Friends series. So as you can see, she used the same font as the show Friends. You know, she literally mimicked the same theme as Friends. And this was all predictive programming because what are the chances that she copies the font for Friends on September 2nd and then Matthew Perry dies 1 month later on October 28th? So this was all predictive programming. And if you guys want to watch my video about Doja Cat, I'll put a link to that video in the description. So Matthew Perry is a very disturbing character. He's done so much weird rituals throughout his career. He did a humiliation ritual, which is basically when they humiliate themselves on purpose. For some reason, he put his pants down. So this was obviously a humiliation ritual. And another nasty ritual that he did was on May 7th, 2021. He matched with a 19-year-old woman on this app called Raya, and she was kicked off of the platform after she exposed Matthew Perry. So keep in mind, she's 19. Notice how the word teen is still in 19. So it looks weird when a 51-year-old is trying to get at a 19-year-old. So here's the video.
Do you always play with your hair this much?
I guess so, yeah.
Do you always play with your hair this much?
He was being very creepy in that video, considering that he was 32 years older than that girl. So it's weird that they're giving this character all this sympathy, considering that he was a very strange character on the world stage to begin with. Now let's talk about this weird deer predictive programming that they did in the movie as well. So Leave the World Behind was released as a premiere on October 25th, 2023. And 3 weeks later, a zombie deer disease outbreak happened in Yellowstone National Park on November 14th. And this is huge mockery because this movie came out 3 weeks before this fake zombie disease happened. And in the movie, they kept showing these deers. There's even a deer on the cover. And when I did research, they said that the first ever zombie deer disease case was in 1967. which of course is also connected to Leave the World Behind because Julia Roberts was born in 1967. And like I showed you guys earlier, they showed the number 76 a lot in this movie because of the 76ers, and also Barack Obama equals 76 in gematria. So I just find it really crazy that Julia Roberts' birthday is connected to this zombie deer disease, and it's also connected to Matthew Perry's date of death. You know, what are the chances that he dies on her birthday and they dated on the show Friends and in real life? So now let's expose Julia Roberts' other characters on the world stage. So Julia Roberts is an actress, so I'm not surprised that her other characters are also actresses. One of Julia Roberts' other characters is Anne Hathaway, and they look exactly alike right here. I mean, this literally looks like a split image of the same person. And here's another comparison of Julia Roberts and Anne Hathaway. And this one is super obvious because they have the same eyes, the same nose, and the same smile. So that makes this one very obvious. Another one of her characters is Brienne Howey. As you can see, these two characters look exactly alike as well. And the biggest similarity with all these characters is their eyes and their smile. For some reason, they all have this creepy looking smile. And they all look manly for some reason. Another one of Julia Roberts' characters is Kyra Sedgwick. And of course, she's also a female actress as well, just like all of her other characters. And as you can see, these two characters look so much alike. And the biggest connection is the fact that Kyra Sedgwick is married to Kevin Bacon, and Julia Roberts has 2 movies with Kevin Bacon. The first movie she has is called Flatliners, and then now she has the movie Leave the World Behind with Kevin Bacon. And to top it off, the biggest connection is the fact that Kyra Sedgwick's birthday is August 19th, and Matthew Perry's birthday is also August 19th. So that's a huge connection because he's connected to Kyra Sedgwick because she's Julia Roberts' other character. So Julia Roberts and Kyra are both connected to Matthew Perry's birthday and death date because Julia Roberts' birthday is the same as Matthew Perry's death date. So do you guys see the connection here? It's crazy how connected they are. You know, Matthew Perry and Kyra have the same birthday, and then Kyra's other character is Julia, and she has the same birthday as Matthew Perry's death date. Now let's talk about Mahershala Ali because he was another actor in the movie, and as you can see, he's clearly doing one-eye symbolism. Mahershala Ali's other character is Future. As you can see, they look exactly alike. I mean, this one is incredibly obvious. They have the same exact eyes and the same face overall. And I made a video about this in the past, so I'm not going to talk about it for too long. But as you can see, they even have the same smile as well. And here's another good comparison of Mahershala and Future. And a huge connection is the fact that Future used to always wear this fedora type hat, and of course Mahershala has a picture with that same type of hat. And if you watched my video about Future, you know that their base character is Meryl Streep, which is a white woman, because the base of all celebrities is white celebrities. All of the black celebrities are created to enslave melanated people because they're the main ones that push these agendas to melanated people, and melanated people love supporting and mimicking everything that these melanated celebrities do. But if only they knew that these melanated celebrities are actually white, they wouldn't be worshiping them as much as they do. So it's all an enslavement of the mind, and celebrities are the new slave owners. So this is why I dedicate every single video on my channel to exposing celebrities, because this stuff needs to be exposed, and if nobody else will do it, then I will. So as you can see, it's very obvious that Future's base character is Meryl Streep. They have the same exact smile and the same side profile, so this one is very easy to see. You can clearly see that they have the same cheekbones as well. And right here you can really see the similarities in their eyes and their face structure. And Future is a very feminine character, so I'm not surprised that his base character is a woman. Right here they look exactly alike with glasses as well. So yeah, this one is very obvious. You know, the eyes never lie, and they literally have the same exact eyes. So if you guys want to watch my original video about this topic, the link to this video is in the description. Last character we need to expose is Ethan Hawke, because Ethan Hawke was one of the main actors in the movie, and as you can see, he has many pictures doing one-eye symbolism in plain sight. So he's obviously here to deceive us like every other celebrity. And here we see Kevin Bacon doing the hidden hand symbolism, Ethan Hawke doing one-eye symbolism, Mahershala Ali doing one eye, and then Julia Roberts is doing the hidden hand. So all of these characters are involved in deceiving the masses. So Ethan Hawke's base character is Kevin Bacon. As you can see, they look exactly alike. They have the same face structure. They act the same. You know, everything about these characters is the same. They have the same eyes. This one is so obvious, I don't even have to show that much proof because they put it right in our face. You know, they literally put these two characters in the same movie because they're both in Leave the World Behind. And there's many people online that have noticed this. There's this article that says the internet thinks Kevin Bacon and Ethan Hawke are the same person, and they know it. So they're admitting that we know the truth. And they came out and did damage control. You know, this movie Leave the World Behind is basically damage control to the fact that these two characters are the same, because Netflix posted this video where they're doing a complete mockery that Kevin Bacon and Ethan Hawke are the same, and they're trying to say that this proves that they're not the same. But whenever they respond to this type of stuff, it just further proves that they are the same, because why would they have to go out of their way to respond to all of these conspiracies if they weren't true? So before I show you guys that video, I do want to mention that I have exposed Kevin Bacon and all of his characters more in depth in this video right here. So I'll put a link to this video in the description for those of you that are interested, because he's also Tom Brady and many other characters as well. So go check out that video if you haven't. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to drop a like, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications, subscribe to my Patreon. The link is in the description. Thank you all so much for your support. And here's the video.
We're looking at images of ourselves, super zoomed in photos, and we heard that the internet thinks we look alike.
So we are going to see how well we can tell each other apart.
But I don't know.
Yeah, that's Ethan. What? I don't even.
What
I
era
definitely
is
don't.
that?
I definitely don't recognize. Do I have a black eye in that picture? I can't.
You
think
look
of-
tough.
I think this is definitely me.
I mean, I really have signed your name for people before. When they tell me how great I was in Footloose, I go, yeah, I was.
Ethan, I feel like you've been mistaken for Kevin Bacon more than once.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this movie's going to finally put that to an end.
I thought for the premiere, Kevin and I should wear, like, I am Kevin Bacon. He should wear I am Ethan. We were at a march the other day, and people were, wait. I can't believe we haven't played Brothers.
I think you guys should wear the exact same suits to the premiere.
I should. That would be wicked cool.
That would be
I'm calling it. I've never minded being mistaken for Kevin Bacon. I've signed Kevin Bacon's name.
Yes, so have I.
You have to.